Exploring personal transformation. From feeling powerless to becoming your own hero. 1. Introduction to personal transformation. In our efforts to be good people and create better systems, we invest deeply our money, our time, our energy, our ingenuity into changing outcomes or impacts instead of transforming the culture of our organizations or individuals to create those results. By missing, forgetting, or ignoring the heart and extraordinary life-centered energy, spirit, and consciousness found in personal transformation, we massively downgrade the impact of our change priorities. How far can it actually take us? That's the transformational inquiry. It's among the most profound inquiries we can ever undertake, whether we're reflecting on questions of powerlessness or even the structure and impact of democracy itself. We need to engage many distinct types of personal transformational considerations just to engage in our dialogue on envisioning change. The heart of democracy. Just what is it? It is the timely merger of our inquiry into the personal transformation of individuals with our inquiry into the culture and consciousness of society at large. It's a focus not on our vast, flashy, noisy, flowing, impactful marketplace of change ideas and applications, but on our relatively subtle, quiet empowerments of everyday men and women in order to make deliberate selections and then take kind measures. By doing what? By becoming their own everyday heroes and then co-creating democratic systems with all the intent to honor, engage, and support those heroes at every single turn. Let's set a precise stage and define our terms. 1.1. Understanding the concept of personal transformation. Individuals and organizations alike are fitfully and increasingly facing a crisis of meaning, often stemming from struggle and oftentimes from transformative encounters with difficult, seemingly unjust, and unsolvable life circumstances that challenge our everyday thinking and perception. Personal transformation concerns positive changes in the individual's own unique way of being, thinking, and acting in the world, which is personally meaningful or significant to the person. Actual recognition of this process and evaluation of its impact is essential, as the individual consciously acknowledges the changes as positive, and not simply a choice, preference, or fateful occurrence, which did not lead to positive outcomes in our lives and our world. These transformative encounters with the many paradoxes and contradictions of everyday life require going through our own personal process of letting go of a part of ourselves to be transformed, to become open to something new, and potentially better for us. Transformative journeys through personal change, organizational change, or societal change are generally about shedding a particular way of perceiving and interacting with the way we wish to be and act in the world. Just as an organization must shed entrenchments and defenses to allow an enabling culture to emerge, individuals can go through a personal process of shedding, willing to experiment, and trust in the emergence of a new personal way of being, acting, and thinking. It is primarily a process of deconstruction and reconstruction, of letting go of something we fiercely cling to, which we are comfortable with, what is familiar and risk-free, the way of thinking, the attitudes, beliefs, and stories that have been our security, for what seems like a very long time, and for us, has acted to keep those identity labels and stories about who we are in place. 2. Recognizing the signs of feeling powerless. Over time, negative life events can lead to varying symptoms indicating that a person is moving into a state where feelings of powerlessness dominate. There are many terms to describe the experience of powerlessness. Learned helplessness, subjugation, sitting in the back seat versus the front seat, diminishment, transinement, driven reactivity, toxic relationships, passive-aggressive relationships, hysteria, attention deficit disorder without hyperactivity, parallel living, codependency, high-conflict marriages, and martyrdom, among others. I propose a theoretical model that integrates these concepts within the larger context of power being used to belittle the other. Just as recognizing the symptoms of disease is the first step to seeking treatment, recognizing and acknowledging signs of suffering caused by disempowerment is the first step in transforming powerlessness. Suggestions for acknowledging the signs of feeling powerless include providing an overview of various presentations and concepts, as well as stories from people who found themselves caught within abusive and intractable disputes. These are just a few examples of a wide range of experiences and stories from diverse people who capture the wide range of personal events that can lead to living in a state of hierarchical shame. 2.1. Identifying negative thought patterns. A common theme arises for individuals. They seek approval. It can become a powerful force and take up a significant portion of their life. Why do individuals desire to constantly seek approval? Could it be the result of negative thought patterns surfacing from an experience during their youth? It sounds plausible. These deeply ingrained thought patterns from earlier years are based on experiences. Past experiences create the framework. Embedded breastplates provide security, as long as every experience is related back to a thorax filled with armor of approval. This approval becomes the column that gives it the necessary props to keep the chest inflated. It is unfortunate how this early programming remains embedded in individuals. The transition between stages in development marks the underlying issues that continue to affect them. It becomes the foundation that molds the direction of their journey. 3. Exploring inner strength and resilience. Inner strength is the courage to face your fears, to be open and honest with yourself and others, and to be vulnerable. You may feel weak, helpless, rejected, and untrusting. You may feel as if the world is a difficult place to live in, and it is an easier option to close down, become defensive, and allow the emotional pain, sadness, and loneliness to fester. Resilience is the strength to pick yourself up, learn from your experiences, and continue your journey. It is the ability to act with and model courage, humility, perseverance, openness, and respect. It is the belief that anything is possible. It is the philosophy that if you believe in yourself, you will be heard and valued. It is a time of growing, learning, laughter, and tears. It is curiously looking at the world and always asking questions. Virtues such as allowing the space for team members to fail, learn from their experiences, and grow from the process are important models of resilience and inner strength, the core values and tools of the authentic leader. Resilience influences the ability to succeed in life, to have a plan, understand and pursue long-term goals, perceive personal efficacy, and preserve the ability to take risks, learn, change, and grow. Resilient individuals believe in themselves and their unique talents, nourish a sense of meaning, self-respect, and hope, substance, and direction. They perform in the optimal stress zone, are not helplessly cautious, and can draw on inner strengths and passion. Inner strengths can be seen as a collection of virtuous character strengths that allow individuals to fully realize their potential. When we model resilient behaviors, we become visible role models able to tap into the team's inner strength. We make a difference and enable individuals to believe in themselves, allowing them to become their own hero. If we create resilient teams, we generate an environment that allows individuals to perform at their best. 3.1. Building self-compassion. Imagine sitting beside a friend who is suffering. How would you talk to them? What's the tone of your voice? Wouldn't you treat them with understanding and genuine care? We certainly do. At certain times, we give others our hand and help them towards our best possibilities with great dedication and love. Like children at play, and without judging anything, only trusting that good things can happen, seeing how delightful it unfolds simply by being understood instead of criticized. This is what Buddhist psychology brings to us with self-compassion. When we go through tough times, we usually come down hard on ourselves. We are programmed to expect a great deal from ourselves all the time. But when the going gets tough, we should come down on ourselves just like we would with the difficulties of someone we love. We should take care of ourselves emotionally, not criticizing or punishing ourselves, but understanding and helping ourselves the best we can. After all, we need it most at that time. After all, we need that friendship most from ourselves when that happens. After all, we need to become the hero of our story, building ourselves into the character that plays the most important role. And throughout it all, we look after ourselves, seeing how the story will unfold. 4. Cultivating a growth mindset. The word impossible generally describes the mindset of someone who doesn't believe in the possibility of overcoming certain problems or adversities. This is a common perspective when it comes to people suffering or recovering from mental health illnesses, as well as to caregivers and other concerned individuals. After all, with all the available statistics, research findings, and information about relapses or even individuals who were supposedly at one point friendly and nice before finding their cause, It's hard to take a leap of faith or consider an open mindset when you hear yet another therapist has given up hope of reaching out to the individual. Change and recovery may not be listed in anyone's job description. This could be the reason why certain kinds of behaviors are easily taken for granted, seen as acceptable or even encouraged. It's important to balance cautious concern with responsible hope, so that more miracles or achievements of hope can manifest themselves freely. Each one of us has the power to make that switch and commitment to do better in your local community and across the globe by learning to develop a growth mindset. Those who have a growth mindset generally enjoy increased productivity, growth, creativity, and self and life satisfaction. I believe that a growth mindset is crucial for those who are keen on transforming problems and adversities into opportunities for the people whom they are serving, as well as for the people who are living with mental health illnesses. In fact, you might find that each of these 4 tenets of a growth mindset will become natural to you over time once you make that switch and become comfortable with the idea of personal transformation in either context. For point 1. Embracing challenges as opportunities for growth. Do you ever imagine your life as a narrative arc? If so, what kind of protagonist do you envision yourself being? Someone who's just always the good guy, or someone who transforms from a weaker to a stronger character through some powerful lessons? In this section, I'd like to foster a sense of personal empowerment and self-determination by encouraging each of us to view life's challenges somewhat differently. Life inevitably offers multifarious twists, turns, and obstacles. Some of them seem evil and capricious, others as downright brave and terrifying. Sometimes we don't choose these challenges, but they're there. That's a given. What seems to be a more meaningful approach to these unpleasant events, then, is to take full responsibility for and ownership of how we experience and grow through them. Let's choose these lessons, rise above the challenges, and, in a figurative way, be our own life coach, hero, guide, mentor, and beloved character at the same time. Let's imagine more colorful visions of our lives that would make us more powerful than we can ever be in real life. In other words, let's tap into some hidden parts and insights into ourselves for self-awareness and growth. 5. Overcoming limiting beliefs. Today, you can start transforming your life. It does not matter what experiences you have had in the past. You cannot bring back the past, but you can definitely build a new future. The experiences do not matter. It does not matter how rich or poor you are, how many children you have, what you currently have, and what influence you have in your job. What does matter is your willingness to look within and realize that you have the ability to take control of your life. If you could identify with 40% of the ideas and exercises in this document, you may already begin the transformation towards a new, liberating, power-filled, and joyful life. I believe that every individual has the power to improve and grow. Everyone can change the circumstances that create discomfort and pain. In life, we experience the influence of what we focus on. When we focus on pain and suffering, we tend to create more pain and suffering. When we experience joy, energy, and vitality, we create more joy, energy, and vitality. There are 4 crucial steps to help you create your future. Determine your value system and decide what you want to create in your life. Identify your limiting beliefs which restrict you from achieving fulfillment, lasting happiness, and achieving what you want in every area of your life. Create productive beliefs, and design the vision of your life and set powerful objectives to assist you on your journey. 5.1. Challenging and reframing negative self-talk. As we found in Chapter 4, Negative Self-Talk, for many rejected or devalued children who overvalorize their idealizing reflections of their parents, the negative self-talk that they internalized can be some of the most powerful and insidious influences that they have. Many want to change their actualizing as well as their idealizing reflections. In consciousness-based therapy, we don't consider that voice to be one's own voice. In fact, we consider this talk to be an internalization of a parent's negative message to their child. People who want to change this negative self-talk need to consciously recognize that inner voice as that of a rejecting, controlling parent, then stop and reframe that message with their own words. The issue of choice here is of extreme importance. Victims of prior abuse have no choice but to absorb, react to, and express whatever the parents allow them to express. they have no opportunity to act as individuals. The child internalizes whatever rules the parents express as absolutes. This is the way things are. As a result, when, as adults, these individuals decide to transform their base unit negative self-talk voice, what lies behind the image that I am asking for? They are attempting to free themselves from that particular bit of internalized, external force that has had lifelong and often highly destructive powers over them. The act of redefining one's own internal positive-negative defining system raises the issues of the self's or personality's priority of precedence. Who should define outcomes for the actions of one's adult self? If the internal self-voice, at its roots, is defined as an extension of a really bad parent, then what he or she thinks and says are not adult feeling-based considerations. 6. Developing emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the buzzword. It's that global human characteristic that determines ultimate success in life. All other things being equal, those who have the ability to manage their own emotions and those of others are likely to be more successful than those who don't. By tuning into their own emotions, they have a rich source of information and, ideally, act only after they've investigated it. In contrast, those who have never learned how to do it may never experience life's ultimate pleasures. Joy, pleasure, and love. They just haven't learned how to cultivate the life of their inner landscape, to still their own inner storms, except in the most extreme situations. Why is this? Successful people lead balanced lives. Unhappy people have unbalanced lives. To learn what makes them tick, they live introspective lives. Happy people aren't scared to look at their beliefs and what they've agreed to swallow uncritically. First of all, they honor that part of their being that serves them most effectively. And they've practiced multitasking. In short, happy people live their lives according to a set of clear personal values. And that's why they not only feel good, they look good too. 6.1. Recognizing and managing emotions. Before offering strategies for dealing with the emotions themselves, there are a few additional attitudes, beliefs, and tools concerning how to manage powerful emotions that are important to know. The first is the simple act of being kind to ourselves. But often, in a personal transformation situation, perhaps where we have made a mistake or things have not gone according to our plan, we habitually react to ourselves with guilt, false accusations, or self-blame, as we would towards others who are the source of our difficulties. This is neither healthy nor necessary. What is necessary is self-understanding and, as far as one can, articulating why we behaved that particular way, even recognizing that the reactions of others contributed to the situation. The simple fact is that everyone makes mistakes. That is part and parcel of being human. What has greater significance is owning up to the error and deciding to act in a positive direction from now on. Another aspect of managing powerful emotions is learning to accept them, rather than deny their existence for fear that we will be seen as inadequate, unworthy of any love or social support. Stifling the emotions only creates an inner pressure cooker that can make anxiety, stress, or anger problems even worse. Accepting them in a balanced way can lead to conversations about them with friends and family, and to strategies for problem-solving an intensely emotional situation. 7. Practicing self-care and mindfulness. It is not selfish to take care of yourself. It is an absolute necessity. Our self and being must be fully nurtured before we can hope to take on the most important decisions and actions in our families, in our jobs, and out in our communities as responsible citizens of the world. In order to maintain a state of happiness, to be able to face difficult people and situations, to face the concept of failure and to eventually bounce back, and effectively deal with success, we must practice self-care. How can we give to others, relying on the strength of our heart, our mind, and our body without taking care of ourselves first? Here is a list of 10 basic self-care ideas that you can fit into your life and the benefits of practicing. You don't need to practice all of them to feel better. However, with time you should adopt at least 3 or more into your life, making them a joyful part of your everyday routine. Mindfulness means being aware of the situation. When we are mindful, we are aware of others' needs, of how we are affected by emotions, of how to develop and nurture our relationships, of how to be cautious and sensitive in our decision-making, and of how to avoid being caught in the repercussions if we have indulged in actions we wish we hadn't. Mindfulness helps us to be befitting role models to our children and not hypercritical or hypocritical pretenders. Mindfulness helps organizations and communities work well so that their members can be productive and satisfied. 7.1. Incorporating self-care routines into daily life. A number of wonderful self-help tools are available. Meditation, walking in nature, practicing yoga, petting your pet, dancing, singing, gardening, reading, writing in a journal, listening to inspiring music, reciting heartfelt prayers, playing with children, talking to yourself supportively, laughing, hugging someone, releasing anger constructively by pounding a pillow or chopping wood, pampering yourself, breathing in fresh air, eating nourishing food, exercising, resting and relaxing, learning something new, loosening up with friends, recognizing and releasing stressful sabotaging behaviors, focusing on the positive outcome of a situation, attending support groups, talking to a professional counselor, and so on. It's just a matter of choosing one or several, making time and doing it. It will always be worth it because you matter. When your cell phone runs out of power, it becomes useless. We are much more complex and effective than a cell phone. When your energy level runs low, it becomes hard to function or make decisions, hard to remain emotionally stable, and hard to stay calm and peaceful. The result, if we push ourselves, is often illness, stress, burnout, depression, or a feeling of emptiness. Keep your power. Recharge your batteries before life forces you to do it. 8. Setting meaningful goals and taking action. Setting meaningful goals in all areas of our lives is essential in reclaiming our personal power. Close your eyes, sit back, and imagine some goals for your life that bring a smile to your heart. These goals might involve relationships, career, financial freedom, service to others, mental development, or physical goals. Think about where you are now in each of these areas and where you are headed. Do you like what you see? If not, what personal changes can help you achieve your dreams? Imagine having different choices and access to resources that could make a significant positive difference in your journey of personal transformation. Picture the old you passing away and withered on the vine, while the empowered you is reaching for the stars and celebrating wonderful new choices and life strategies. Choose to refuse to be paralyzed by fear and to continue to be overly concerned with needing the permission or approval of other people. Choose to believe in yourself and have the courage to care about yourself and others. Remember to breathe and laugh, have fun, and enjoy the journey to your center. At the core of your existence, be still, love, experience happiness, and simply have the courage and faith to be yourself. Your positive energy will overflow and touch others around you, and you will be reconnecting with the personal power that comes from experiencing oneness with your inner superhero. 8.1. Creating SMART goals. To move forward, it is helpful to decide which part of ourselves we want to work on. This helps us have a clear vision and direction for our journey. Sometimes, just deciding which part of ourselves we want to work on can be hard. Many of us spend a great deal of time and effort doing what we are supposed to do, helping others, and asking what we should do. Often, we do these things without really having a clear sense of self or purpose, leading with a purpose, not knowing what we want or what we are working on. This is a time of mindfulness for yourself. To live better, you need to be clear about what you want. Yes, you matter. Everyone has the right to decide what they want in life. However, before deciding, realize what is and what is not possible to achieve. I have seen individuals spend a great deal of time and effort frustrating themselves over things that could not be changed. Other individuals waste a great deal of time and effort on unrealistic goals. It has been said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over while expecting different results. Goals need to be realistic and achievable. Goals and steps should be clear and simple. SMART goals allow you to become more focused and clear about what you want. To create your SMART goals, follow these steps: specific, measurable, attainable, reasonable, and time-bound. Finally, writing down your goals helps to put these goals in your thoughts and motivates you to achieve your goals. Many individuals prepare to do lists or action steps to advance in their journey and consolidate their progress as they move forward in their growth. 9. Building healthy relationships. The empowered survivor is able to maintain healthy and respectful interactions with others at home, work, and in their social life. They will no longer feel helpless or remain silent out of fear, nor will they always seek to fight in order to prove that they are worthy of respect. They will be able to walk the middle path, to express themselves when it is in their best interest, and to remain silent or let another have their say in areas that are not as important. These individuals have learned that it is psychologically safer to do whatever they can to protect their physical and psychological self. A survivor who is still vulnerable will not have learned to be assertive and to protect themselves from harm. If one is always in a defensive mode, there is an essence of feeling powerless, and a corollary need to fight to prove one's worth. The empowered person is no longer willing to prove themselves in this way. They are now in a more serene mindset and are more interested in making the environment in which they live and work a safe and peaceful place. Personal transformation is about becoming more aware of oneself. It is impossible to co-create nurturing relationships and supportive environments while still remaining in a clueless trance. The emotionally healthy family is a nurturing system where independence and dependence can work in a reciprocal partnership. Sharing joy, giving and receiving feedback, support, and encouragement, becoming self-aware, learning to manage emotions, solving problems, and setting goals are processes attended to in the healthy, nurturing environment. The nurtured individual, when grown and in their own romantic, familial, and professional relationships, develops the self-discipline to continue the process of feeling and healing, being self-reflective and responsible while also offering and asking for support. This is the co-creating dance of personal transformation. If a mother or father is moderate in their approach as they carry out their parenting role, the child has a good chance to develop the positive characteristics necessary for a safe and productive life. On the other hand, if the family restricts independence and freedom, the child may grow up to use these same behaviors to continue within their own romantic and social system, a cycle that continues and feeds such problems for generation after generation. 9.1. Establishing boundaries and assertiveness. While initially setting boundaries can sometimes be a response that can be misconstrued as taking on a defensive attitude by insiders, this could trigger further isolation. Surely, there is nothing more to think about than what level of freedom is best for oneself in order to summon one's anger. Unregulated freedom respecting others' less willing irascibility can imply insult if one does not rise to the occasion of developing one's self-assertiveness. Misused and ill-regulated rage is incendiary, but if it is left unused and one remains at the receiving end of abuse and insults, one needs to limit the number of humiliations before something has to be done to get rid of the pressing threat that covert treatment leads to, such as running the risk of fully developed depression. Leniency with one's own strikes is like respecting regular service delivery or refusing to protest at a store that supplies defective goods regularly. If one does not train oneself to push for one's rights and see them catered to in a reasonable manner, as well as to avoid being treated like a doormat, the appearance and feeling of being a doormat may confirm endless oppression. The reality and real desires of affected persons are eventually canceled out if we pander to the insatiable needs of others. Permissive behaviors turn into passive behavior signatures of being washed out. The perception of power that strict respect for environmental harmony commands resides in the eye of the recipient. Setting a strong and stable respectful correction of unwanted behavior shows the real stability of their personality. A sure sign that the calm acceptance of one's reasoning ends further prospects of strengthening the soliciting side due to the expected benefits that come with keeping one's love for oneself contained. Setting reasonable, unambiguous, and not easily influenced limitations seems to be a gentle invitation for a more balanced relationship that guarantees a minimum level of equality, as well as a strong signal that a better partnership starts from considering personal interests too. 10. Embracing change and adaptability. What makes any person feel satisfied or content? We all want peace, love, unity, and connection. Yet, most people feel anger, frustration, jealousy, irritation, and dissatisfaction when they can't experience those beautiful wishes that lie sincerely hidden in their minds. When people experience harsh emotions such as fear, anxiety, or dying, they develop personal strength and consciousness to shift their behavior. The reward is the experience of a better life, a life guided by the highest truth that originates with the person who surrenders to the spiritual desires that lie within. Traits such as the flexibility to move from day-to-day life challenges and sorrows to the deepest feeling of bliss are possible. Tools to experience great change are within us. The feeling of first-stage transformation is achieved when you surrender egocentric desires and pride. When you feel attracted to the idea of having the potential to contribute to a better and more loving world, I am going to share with you the purpose of doing so. The purpose of life is to experience as hard and challenging a personal transformation as possible. Imagine your heart being an empty vessel that is to be filled with spiritual insight. Every day, you are offered two different scenarios. You can choose to live in a pattern of repetition uninterested in learning inner wisdom, making you a person without conscious spiritual desires. Or you can choose to learn a lesson of inner spirit. While going through emotional chaos, meeting and being around people and situations that trigger harsh and challenging life experiences, you learn to embrace what life offers, enabling the vessel within you to be filled with love, acceptance, and compassion. Inner peace and deep insight on spiritual matters. The universe wants you to succeed in building the spiritual connection because, when we are all connected, peace, love, unity, and realizing that humans are loving and caring entities is the result. 10.1. Navigating transitions with resilience. Life is a series of transitions. From childhood to adolescence and on to adulthood, we go through massive growth, both physically and mentally. We leave home, go to college or start our first job, make new friends, maybe even get married and settle down with someone. Life seems all mapped out. We're young and energetic. But as we age, life takes its toll on us. Our life may be a routine of work and sleep, without enough time for fun and friends. We suffer a string of disappointments and personal losses. Maybe a job or a dream has been lost. We have broken up with a special person, fallen out with our parents or children, lost a house, money, friend, or even a loved pet, and we are feeling unhappy, rejected, guilty, or lonely. So our life is a series of ups and downs. We do not like the hassle of change, and we prefer things to be predictable. Safety and security are important to us. We crave a routine where we don't have to dig deep into our reservoir of patience and courage, and we have a routine that will keep us away from sadness, anxiety, and anger. In our comfort zone, we tend to drift through life like a zombie. We live our life without noticing, without being aware, without being conscious of our feelings and thoughts. We are just following a stream, doing the same thing over and over again, without holding the power to direct our own destiny. 11. Harnessing the power of visualization and affirmations. In the previous section, we mentioned how thoughts affect our reality and how it is a good idea to redirect our attention to positive, constructive thoughts. Visualization and affirmations are proven and effective methods to accomplish this. So let's spend some time to explain and explore how they work. When we visualize, whether with open eyes or with our eyes closed, positive or negative images of what we want or don't want to happen, we increase the possibility of it happening. Why? Because the emotions associated with a strong visual and emotional imagination create positive energy. And if we are capable of feeling it in the present, as if it has already occurred, we are sending the message to the infinite web of connectivity that co-creates the reality we live in. In response, this reality moves to produce what we are feeling, thereby making our visualization come true. That's the secret. You become what you imagine you already are. You attract what you focus on. Feeling is the key word here. Now, how do you create a strong visual and emotional imagination? You create it by connecting with your feelings. How does the image you are visualizing make you feel? This feeling is sent out to the universe, spinning around with your individual sense of space-time. Imagine then, with your eyes closed, millions of paths converging into one path, right back to the head of the line overseeing the others, like a hand directing the flow of a waterfall. This takes you to a place one step ahead of the existing present into the future and produces images and feelings as real as reality itself. What do your visualizations look like? And what feelings do you associate with them? 11.1. Creating a vision board. We relate well to imagery. We might forget a few words, but if we hear a piece of music from 20 years ago, we can still remember the lyrics. Do you think this means that music is more important than we might realize? In the same way, if we visualize an item for the future, it gives us clarity and focus. There are many stages between a simple thought and the manifestation of a desired result. Using the brilliance of a visual representation that is also alive with imagery is a good way to keep yourself on track. Visual representations truly connect us with our goals. The main purpose and the basis for the effectiveness of the vision board is visualization, directing our brain collaboration in the direction of our goals and desires. Let's visualize the future with a vision board. It's definitely recommended that you find a place to make your board so that it can stay there and serve as a continual and reliable reminder. You are free from all other distractions and are able to gently put your mind where you want it to be. Choose images, slogans, anything that may inspire, that speaks to you, and connects you emotionally. Fully immerse yourself in your future. Where can you put your vision board? Remember that ultimately your intention is for your dreams, desires, and goals to be brought to life. So put your vision board in a dedicated spot that you'll view multiple times every day. Seeing your vision board every day can have a much more powerful impact on your subconscious mind. Surround yourself with your goals, with your life's accomplishments. Your vision board is a great reminder of your overall goal and is also a great tool to always direct our thoughts towards our life purpose. 12. Fostering a supportive environment. To be your own hero, you also have to be your own advocate. You need to treat people with kindness, respect, and understanding, but you also need to expect people to be kind, respectful, and understanding toward you. It's important that you consciously cultivate a supportive environment. Surround yourself with calm, positive people who give you freedom. Family, friends, associates, church members, coaches, and even pets can lighten your spirit and inspire your personal transformation. Some of these people will be lifelong supporters, and others will join your support team seasonally or temporarily. The keys are that you gather strength from these people, and in turn communicate a bold, self-confident vibe that is, you're able to let people know when you really need them and when you can stand on your own. Support can come in many forms. Advice, a pat on the back, a good laugh, a healthy meal, a cuddle, a game of sports, a kind word, a silent presence. Growing this network goes back to acknowledging and nurturing all of your relationships. By and large, you're attending to your emotional and physical needs, so you'll be strong enough to offer and receive the emotional and physical support that our human natures require. Keep in mind that both giving and receiving nourish relationships. They go hand in hand. 12.1. Surrounding yourself with positive influences. Your environment, interactions with others, and the sights and sounds you bring into your life can influence both your mental focus and emotional state. All of these influences can create a positive frame of mind or lead to an ingrained negative frame of mind. Surround yourself with positive influences, and you will stand up each and every time adversity pushes you down. Do not surround yourself with these positive influences, and you will discover that the lack of a positive attitude can tumble you to the ground in 2 seconds flat. The interaction with a person who thinks positively can be like taking a breath of fresh air. Your mood instantly lifts and blossoms with possibilities. You have worlds of ideas swimming in your head when you're done. Conversations that may trigger a negative thought are quickly squelched before they have the chance to spin into a whirlwind of destructive thinking on any particular topic. The indestructibility of optimism leads to a world of possibilities. An unending energy, strength of character, and bold determination can take over. It doesn't matter what the person with a positive attitude is telling you. Just being in the aura of their company will enable you to see things feel a lot better. Before you realize what's happened, your mind is in a big, beautiful place filled with happy energy. 13. Celebrating progress and milestones. Pat yourself on the back. Celebrate your progress and milestones. This work is not easy, and you deserve recognition. In each step and each stage, There will be successes, no matter how minor you may perceive them to be. Reflect on what you have accomplished for self-empowerment and self-discovery, and see it for what it has been. If you no longer believe you are the person you should be for yourself, recognize it, accept it, and, most importantly, do something about it. If you are not where you want to be yet, recognize the efforts to date that reflect moving forward and acknowledge that there is always a positive direction ahead. Recognizing and being comfortable celebrating the victories and milestones is an important step towards self-discovery and empowerment. All too often, we minimize our personal growth and successes. It is only when we separate the superficial reflection that we can accept and celebrate our achievements. Celebrating victories is important and will help to reinforce your self-confidence and clarity, not to mention a good self-esteem. Fight against negativity and minimize the rewards you deserve. Recognize and acknowledge the internal and external wisdom that has surfaced. Life is a series of experiences. They provide the primary method of obtaining the knowledge required for personal growth and empowerment. Take the time, celebrate your success, and give yourself the credit that you deserve. 13.1. Practicing gratitude and reflection. Gratitude can open the door to feeling powerful and worthy. The process of acknowledging the many gifts you have in your life awakens your internal superpowers. Recall times when you have expressed or received deep gratitude. 1. What feelings did you experience in yourself when you expressed or received these words or expressions of gratitude? 2. Can you recall a time when you received a gift that overwhelmed you with gratitude? How did this event change how you felt about yourself? When we stop to feel appreciation for everything we have, we can increase our self-worth and self-awareness. Gratitude practice. Here is a simple exercise that will lift your spirits and curb your materialistic impulses. If it is possible, write each day for 3 weeks a note of thanks to someone who has helped you, and deliver the letter to that person. At this point, don't focus on any barriers you might have to doing this activity, but rather on the benefits of doing the activity. 14. Maintaining consistency and persistence. You cannot partake in a party if you don't show up. It takes persistence and determination to reach a goal or a vision. Regular life scenario preparation helps support your journey toward your vision. Consistency in following through on ideas and projects during the regular daily grind helps prepare you to reach your higher goals. Every season is full of the right ingredients that help you grow. Make sure you are allowing those ingredients to marinate in who you are, helping you see dreams through their fulfillment and allowing your vision to materialize. Great inspirations may come suddenly, but most success in obtaining your dream is maintained by being consistent and persistent in building, creating, and joining with others. If you want to achieve and succeed, you must have the heart to be consistent, authentic, and persistent. If you want to keep things moving and be successful, consider being more than just an ad hoc player. You must have common themes running through your life. This means developing relationships with people who also have these common goals. You must develop and gain a support system of authentic friends who are on a positive road to self-fulfillment and greatness. You must be able to let go of being around negative people who are not capable of making a genuine attachment with you. You are responsible for checking on yourself. Make sure you are doing the necessary work to find out if you are willing to change to reach your goals, big or small. It is your job to make sure you are consistent in doing the proper maintenance. This process involves doing for yourself and walking in your greatness. It also involves sharing your dreams, visions, and hard work with others. Start your plan by reaching out to the seeds you have planted close to home. Start with a word of encouragement and a consistent act of random kindness. 14.1. Developing a routine and staying committed. One of the first actions that clients take in the sustainable empowerment process is routine integration. You can likely remember a time when you were regularly feeling anxious, stressed, or upset about a situation in your life. Eventually, the situation diffused and created no lasting damage, but because of the time and energy spent on being stressed, your spiritual, mental, and emotional fluctuations did have an impact. When life eventually quieted down, you decided to develop a hobby to ensure better routines and to focus more on self-care. This was an action designed to protect you from undergoing such an overreaching emotional roller coaster in the future, an action to help soften future blows and uncertainty, and to bolster your sense of empowerment. This is empowerment and sustainable empowerment. A client who was entering rehabilitation for her addiction to opioids was frequently experiencing panic attacks because of her need to be constantly busy. She felt as though she constantly had to be working, cleaning, or doing. She would overcome one project, becoming increasingly more anxious, only to make lists of other items to work on. With research and collaboration, this colleague, who felt similar to a deer stuck in headlights, discovered a series of living techniques, such as adult coloring, that teach the individual how to appreciate the progress made on a task. Their confidence regarding life, decisions, outcomes, and choices can then be further developed. 15. Seeking guidance and mentorship. Seeking guidance and mentorship can be crucial factors in determining how long it takes someone to travel a transformation path. We want to place a higher value on information that will help us speed the process and avoid the landmines of little mistakes or hot coals of error that might slow us down, or even burn us badly. We are often driven by a desire to avoid certain pain. This, again, is where a good mentor can assist you. Someone who has walked the path and survived their own trials and errors doesn't usually have good information to share alone. They can also express their own hard-won wisdom in ways that can soften the blow of your own journey. Sharing their journey and having their journey shared can be medicinal and educational for us both. Mentorship is a much more profound and necessary relationship than the sycophantic adulation that is often seen in a protégé. This meaningless, self-serving promotion of one's own would-be guru is often a debilitative substitute for a genuinely guiding and nurturing bond. Although pseudo-seekers often believe they are humbling themselves before a source of what they need, in reality, they do nothing but deplete themselves. Profile purchasing may be very lucrative for the magus of personality, but it fertilizes no future of personal growth. 15.1. Finding a mentor or coach. The way you make decisions ultimately shapes and dictates the quality of your life or work. One important way to improve your decision-making is to partner with a mentor or a professional coach. But before we get to the specifics of selecting and working with a mentor or coach, let's start with understanding the differences between these two valuable roles. Although mentors and coaches usually share a common objective, to help individuals and organizations identify and achieve their highest potential vision, they serve in different capacities for developing their clients. The distinction between mentors and coaches is less about professional expertise and more about a counselor's approach to clients. Traditionally, a person is considered to be a mentor if he or she is more senior or experienced, a respected source of information, advocates for and believes in the younger person, and is willing to share knowledge at no cost. Coaches, on the other hand, are more task-oriented, help the client work through personal problems that hinder the client's performance, and are more adept at helping clients change behavior. These differences in approach and focus suggest three things to remember when deciding whether to hire a consultant who is a mentor or a coach, and when seeking a free mentor. Then we'll discuss how to find and work with traditional mentors and coaches. 16. Embracing lifelong learning. Think of life as a school, and you're here to learn as much as you can and to make the best progress you can. Such a concept is at the heart of the hero's journey and the transformation process. As you explore the hero's journey, you have an extraordinary opportunity not merely to embrace learning, but also to magnify and accelerate your innate drive to be a lifelong learner. This mindset is so vital to your success in life that we'll dedicate this chapter to integrating such a perspective. The first 50 years, if you build an awareness of how you learn most effectively, your first half-century can be an incredibly rich, fulfilling, and impactful time. You can learn to unlock your learning power and tap the innate wisdom you carry within your life. It's a profound gift of the hero's journey, the twist that helps you seed and energize your sense of well-being for a lifetime, as well as for peak moments in your future. Let's start by discovering how you learn best so you can add fuel to your quest for the meaning and action you want in life. 16.1. Exploring new skills and knowledge areas. Some other important ways in which a person can transform involve exploring and gaining degrees of mastery in a variety of new skills and knowledge areas. For example, it is hard to change your belief system. However, you can begin to learn a new way of understanding, eventually reaching a point where you at least practice and partially understand enough concepts of the new belief system that you treat them as if they were true. The more skilled you become in creating yourself, the more true they really do become. There are 3 closely related skills and knowledge areas associated with increasing insight into how much identity is a self-creative process. Firstly, one should clearly understand why people believe as they do. How one reasons to one's conclusions is very important knowledge to have. The art of clear thinking is essential. With clarity lost, the chances of successfully engaging a query become small. Misbehavior does not guarantee that the query is eternal nonsense. Secondly, we should actively attempt to learn a more valid worldview of what is and is not currently physically possible. Understanding the laws of the natural universe is also an important ingredient in successfully solving a problem. If miracles did not exist, many query responses would be easily completed. Rules exist for a reason. Don't violate them needlessly or try to break them more by including them as a condition of a miracle query. 17. Facing setbacks and building resilience. Graham, the CEO of an insurance company, was feeling content. A few years ago, the company had been on the brink of bankruptcy. A new investment had reinvigorated operations and launched the company into a period of strong growth. Almost immediately after the deal was struck, the chief financial officer and a few key employees left the company. Despite its strong financial position, it seemed that the investment had brought other complications rather than providing relief. The investors had come to influence operational decisions. Despite his success, Graham realized that he was not happy at all. He understood that for him, the most fulfilling part of doing business is an ever deeper and more transparent relationship with employees, partners, and clients. Facing setbacks and rebuilding strength is what heroes do. They find the energy from setbacks provided they are living the most powerful expression of who they are. Resilience is the capacity to withstand stress and catastrophe, a combination of fine-tuned regulation of emotional, cognitive, and hormonal responses, hard-won capacities honed through years of practice and actual setbacks experienced and absorbed. Resilience, like confidence, is developed through overcoming setbacks. Confidence is what gives you resilience. Resilience is the bedrock of the tension associated with reaching for your highest expectations. A CEO who is committed to living their values already has confidence because they have made the difficult decisions and they know the inevitable personal costs they have had to pay in personal energy and comfort to achieve their goals. 17.1. Learning from failures and adversities. The major problem of facing, opening up to, and learning from our failures and adversities is that of facing and being willing to learn the lessons from our most painful life experiences. It is hard to take a step back and look at life from a wider perspective, from the vantage point of the observer. From there, we find that there are invaluable lessons involved in our hardest, harshest life opportunities. When we are suffering, we tend to pursue any path other than that of choosing to find meaning in our pain. Human beings, like our closest primate relatives, when we are in pain, prefer the simple prescription of get rid of the pain, remove the cause of the pain. Others of our closest non-human primate relatives choose the same route and remove themselves from life. We have a different life situation than they and different responses to pain. We also, however, have different survival problems than the members of other species. 18. Embodying your inner hero. Joyce Allinger has chosen to live her life by breaking through the clouds of fears, ignorance, and suffering. She has made it her mission to help transform the world one person at a time, one dream at a time. She has encountered countless guiding spirits along the way and embodies whatever it is that evolves around her. She has become quieter, simpler, and deeper with each transformation. In their true essence, heroes are not godlike and distant like the stars. They are down to earth and connected to the earth. The myth and legend of the concept arise from the symbolism created in the husk of what has always been there. We all carry the spirit of truth within us. Our myths, heroes, and legends simply help remind us of where the energy is. The brain looks for a person as a symbol of an idea or quality in its evolutionary attempt to understand and reconnect what really matters in life, as indeed it must in order for it to work as nature intended. When people's brains replace the idea of hero with contentment through their participation in heroic stories, the stories allow them to see different imitations and examples of transformation possibilities in small and gentle ways. Every living being can become a tuning fork for the energy, but most people, unless they truly understand, acknowledge, and incarnate the collective voice of their subconscious mind, cannot see it. When growth, through whatever methods, slows, stagnation and sometimes disaster steps in until it ramps up once again. As with life, leaders of people must invoke duality within themselves, understanding it as a constant throughout their existence. 18.1. Integrating personal growth into your identity. This book was written to help cure the bias against positive personal change and the integration of personal growth into our identities. It is hoped that the individual examples of successful integration and the summaries and exercises at the end of each chapter will be both fun and helpful. No one becomes a master on first exposure to any concept. Each step of understanding involves some clumsy adjustment as we attempt to integrate a new idea. The basic message is, take it easy, even as you seek to achieve your own potential. If you keep trying, you can't help but make progress. Think of personal growth as a gap between where you are and where you could be as defined by your potential. Since it is difficult to know exactly what our potential is, we must rely upon less biased observers and upon what we intrinsically desire for ourselves. We must also continuously stretch and explore that potential to see what can, and what can't, be achieved. Is it necessary to wait for humans who have totally achieved their potential before personal growth can be accepted as normal? Since no final goal is ever achieved, what then is personal growth and how does it relate to personal learning? 19. Conclusion and reflections. Alcott once noted that, if we could see the miracle of a single flower clearly, our whole life would change. We need to remind ourselves that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step, and at times only by planting the seeds of compassion can we begin to grow. Life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. It also unfolds as we practice what we believe and know is true. Simply, for personal transformation to become a reality in our life, we must begin to embark on this process. When we expand, truly hearts do open and our world does change. And however painful it may be, it seems that our hearts must break open so that new roots begin to grow in the right direction, as wisdom blooms and a new promise begins. Mother Teresa certainly believed that sacred instinct motivates and drives all of us to expand our capacity for love, despite the powerful tide created by our search for individual immediacy. We have never been able to give our love without widening ourselves and ever so much more. Surprise, new ideas. The gifts can be so many and so wonderful. Anyone who dares to give a piece of bread finds himself with the Eucharist in his hands. With this heart-rending vision as our example, invariably, we are both called and led to overcome our aversion to suffering. The exercise becomes a beautiful paradox, a logic for testing the spirit. How can an intoxicating elixir of love possibly emanate from an ashy mire of pain? Yet it is often here that we are then forever lulled in the draught. In final reflection, in the push-push and murky rapids of everyday decision-making, our narrative may be but a ripple in a great and enduring struggle. But the exercise is more than merely a testimony. It provides a foundation through which we are able to better understand ourselves as it calls us to weave a patch of our personal tapestry. A cloth, rich and varied, having multiple textures and colors. Through a greater understanding of our soul, life is brought back into a brighter focus. This is the magic, the transgression, then the learning of how to live. 19.1. Key takeaways and action steps. We explored two dimensions of personal power, external and internal. While we must deal with each to solve interpersonal and societal issues, to make our greatest contribution in life, it is the internal dimension of power that offers the most promise. In your hero's journey through life, We saw that perhaps your life mission included a focus on either the external or internal sides. Others lived a life equally balanced on both sides. It is the union of both worlds that can lead you to experience the hope and love that make your life perfect. What action steps might you take now to enhance your power to change from the external world to the internal one? Consider some of the following ideas and add some others that come from your experience. To explore the inner world, try beginning with your inner voice. Is it a nurturer or a critic? The key is to listen to whichever thoughts run through your head that may restrict your freedom. These messages will help you understand how powerful you feel about your ability to affect change. If I want to stay in my external world when I am looking for security, I can feel it. I also feel the need for security when I want excitement or pleasure. Since my power in life is equivalent to the feeling of security, I have found that I and others feel most secure when we are creating the same unsafe conditions that make us feel powerless. My wife feels powerless when she has to depend on others for her security needs, so she cloisters herself in our home, a classic symptom of powerlessness in life. It was only before we had our second child that we were forced to see how much more powerful we were when we left the external world and worked together to achieve what we wanted.